All right. Well, welcome everybody. My name is Aaron Whittier. I'm excited for you guys all to be here tonight. Thank you to my co-host for letting everybody in. Appreciate it. I see you guys are all over the place. Might have some people here from Australia. Might be some Europeans here. People from all over the states, obviously. A lot of excitement here around what we're going to talk about tonight. So, whether you've been invited here for the first time or whether you're watching possibly the recording. I'm going to go talk about some pretty interesting things tonight. If you haven't heard about what's going on with this company, you might have seen somebody talk about these devices that have helped them tremendously in the last couple months, possibly. Or if you hear potentially for someone said, "Hey, listen, I've never seen anything quite like this on the business side as well." Well, you might be here for both. So I'm going to go over a couple different things. But first, I want to talk about two big challenges that no one really prepares us for, and that's proactive wellness and then strategic timing and creating real leverage. So we're going to talk about, here in America, if you are calling in from, if you're zooming in from Europe or, Australia, it might be a little different in your countries. Actually, matter of fact, I'm sure it is really different. Maybe not too different, actually, but it's definitely different in the US because in the US, we spend more on healthcare than any nation in history. So why are we still getting sicker, right? Trillions are spent yearly. Chronic illness is rising, daily prescriptions are rising, and there is a bunch of reasons for that, right? A lot of it's our food, it's our inactivity, sitting down 9.5 hours per day. There's a big, really pandemic in America, and that's obesity, right? It is what it is, and 70% of adults in the U.S. take at least one prescription drug daily. And over a lifetime of average American, they'll ingest 50,000 pills and still never be taught how to make their body work better. So tonight we're going to talk about being the proactive model. I'm going to teach you what's going on right now because the global wellness industry is growing. Massively growing right now. The big reason is something we call biohacking. And biohacking includes PEMF, red light therapy, and recovery tech. We're going to talk a lot about PEMF if you've never heard of that before. And there's a major global shift right now how people approach health. People want drug-free solutions. The world's shifting towards prevention, not just treatment. And tech and health are merging. AI guided wellness tools, at home devices replacing clinical visits, and PEMF is now gaining momentum. And what's driving that growth the most? Well, it's the aging population, right? Look at all the baby boomers right now. There's a ton of people right now that are just aging out right now. Increased chronic conditions and the demand for in-home therapy devices. So, we're going to talk a lot about timing tonight. So, here in the US, we work on the reactive model. We all know that. We've grown up like that. We wait for symptoms, we go to the doctor, they diagnose us, and what do? They give us a prescription, right? Something to treat, right? The pain or whatever it is, but they never teach us how to actually fix the problem, right? So we're getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And the reason is they want us to stay sick because there's no money if we don't go to the doctors. There's no money if we don't need prescriptions, right? So they don't want us to stay optimized. So we're going to talk about the proactive model tonight. Supporting the body daily. We're going to improve resilience and we're going to optimize function. That's where our company called Olylife, that's where this company lives. So the company profile here is a global presence right now. This company started in Asia, actually in Singapore, 3.5 years ago. And you see there's the headquarters are in Singapore and also in China. There's branch offices all over Asia. Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia. They're building the biggest one in Hong Kong right now. And there's major expansions right now going on in the United States, Canada, Japan, Korea. I mean, it's all over right now, the globe. And why is that? Because everybody around the world wants this technology. And if you look at the advanced research and development, there's 3 years of research. Olylife owns laboratories in Sweden and Germany. There's thousands of global patents, European certifications, and these devices are also made with advanced chips in rare metals only found in Japan. So why is the company growing so fast? Well, listen, we're in the age of AI, right? And with AI, they can do a lot of stuff really quick. But if you look at the history of the company, again, they're only 3.5 years old. Right now in Asia, they're doing 80 plus million per month in sales with these devices just in Asia. And on the business side, because people, the timing was right, and people were sharing these devices with people they knew, sharing stories and everything else, they've created over 500 millionaires in 3 years. We actually have our first millionaire here in the States already in 11 months because they were the first to the market. They're shipping to over 180 countries. And, the company's just flying. Like we talked about, we'll talk about certification, innovation you can trust. Like I talked about, tons of patents, proof that these devices work, proof that PEMF works. And I encourage you all, if you haven't yet, if the person that invited you here hasn't told you to go to whatever AI you use, whether it's ChatGPT, Gronk, whatever it is, go on there and ask the question, what are the benefits of PEMF? Just ask it. You're going to see it's all positive. It's all positive. Works on, inflammation, circulation, you name it. It works on so many things. So, scientific backing and global research. Again, we're going to talk about PEMF. What does PEMF stand for? It's pulsed electromagnetic field and terahertz. See, the difference between our devices, some of you may have PEMF mats potentially. You may have heard of a company that went around pretty quickly years ago. And these mats were really expensive, about $6,000. You lay on the mat, and it definitely helps people out. They worked. But why is this technology now creating such a buzz? And why are people having so many more positive results than those mats that are, can be 5 times as expensive? Well, because the company Olylife, they patented its unique combination of frequencies. Okay, that's the magic here. They included PEMF, radio frequency, and terahertz energy. So the PEMF and radio frequencies, those are the therapeutic energies, call them the healers. Those heal the body. And the terahertz energy, that helps drive the frequencies deeper into the body. See, when you put your feet on these devices or you have them, around your stomach or whatever devices you get, they go deep into the skin and they bring PEMF and radio frequency into the body. So you look at what it does. It activates and revitalizes cells, promotes meridian flow, detoxification, pain, inflammation, and fatigue relief, fat burning and body sculpting, you name it. Everything you essentially want with a device, it does it. So PEMF is not new. Actually, originally developed by NASA to support astronaut health in zero gravity environments. Okay, it uses low frequency pulsed electromagnetic fields to support the body's natural recovery systems. So if you look at here, these are astronauts that came back from space. They were out of space for a long time. They couldn't walk. They came back and they can't walk. They have to get used to the gravity. So these scientists gave them PEMF and they recovered so much faster. So you look at the evolution of PEMF technology. In the early 20th century, EMF, electromagnetic fields, were introduced to radio, electricity, in modern tech. And there was growing awareness in the mid to late 20th century. And then in the 60s and 70s, that's when these scientists were exploring pulsed electromagnetic field as a way to support cellular health and recovery. That's when they were given into the astronauts. And in the 2000s, these devices were made, but they were only made for certain places. Okay, you couldn't really buy them because they were $30,000 or $40,000. Actually, the equestrian world has been using PEMF for a long time to help with horses. Because when horses race, or they have big bodies, but they have small joints in their legs, so they give PEMF therapy to horses. You can look it up; it's all over the internet. And also, celebrities had access to it, right? Sports people had access to it. There's a video on YouTube about Shaquille O'Neal that he says PEMF saved his career because he recovered a lot faster because his trainer knew about PEMF. But again, these devices weren't affordable for the masses, and frankly, they didn't want us to know about them. Okay, they don't want us to know about the benefits because, again, they want us to go to the doctors. They want us to stay sicker. But in the 2020s, here we come, Olylife innovation. Okay, we advanced the PEMF technology with user-friendly devices that are affordable in your home, and the technology is a breakthrough, the way they patent it, and that's why this company is going nuts. But we're brand new in the United States. So look at the science behind terahertz. Terahertz waves have been explored in scientific studies for the potential interaction with biological systems. The Therapy 90 is a non-invasive wellness device that uses THC frequency, terahertz frequency, combined with natural elements to support overall well-being. But you look at what it does. It activates cellular energy, improves blood flow. It boosts your brain and nerve function and supports brain and mood. I mean, you get on these devices, and I'll tell you, we can't make medical claims. Obviously, we cannot do that. but you just feel better. You absolutely feel better. So we have a few different devices there, state-of-the-art wellness devices. We have the Terra P90. That was the original device. This company did over $1 billion in their second full year in business. In the annual year, they did $1 billion with that device, the P90 right there. And then we got the Galaxy G1 goggles. We're going to go over that in a minute. We got the Obama Air Terra P90, which the majority of people are getting. That's the upgraded P90. And also the Vitality Wand. We also have the hottest product right now is a shaking massager. What that does comes with actually comes with a smartwatch as well. And coming soon, we get this Ollie Spring, which is going to be pretty neat when that comes out. So the P90 again, this was the original machine here. What it does, I'm going to show you a video in a second what it does to to circulation, like we talked about, improves flow and harmony, supports healthy circulation, metabolic function, supports detox pathways. The list goes on and on and on. We have thousands and thousands of testimonials of people using these devices just simply from their home, putting their feet on it for maybe 20 or 30 minutes, depending upon the device you have, and what it's done for people. So I'm going to show you this video here right now of what happened when someone took their blood, and you'll see it under a microscope, and then they put their feet on our P90 Plus, and what happened. You can see here their blood is slow moving, it's clumped together, not really doing much.
Wow. That's amazing. That is amazing. Holy
Oop.
smoke. Look how separate they are. Wow.
I mean, absolutely incredible. You look at what the blood flow did after a 20-minute session on our P90 Plus. You think you'd feel better if your blood was moving like that in your body? Of course you would, right? So the global eye strain crisis, we all know, we've heard of it, right? Prolonged exposure to EMFs may alter biological rhythms. Overexposure to blue light can lead to digital eye fatigue. Listen, we look at our devices way too much, right? In the cell phone age, right? We're always on our cell phones, looking at our cell phones for hours and hours per day, watching videos, doing whatever, working on our phone, working on a computer, right? Our children expose to screens for 6+ hours per day. So it's a big issue, right? So our Galaxy G1 goggles here, smart eye massager. What it does, promotes eye strain and relieves eye strain and promotes relaxation, designed to help reduce eye fatigue, screen time, reading, daily stress. It massages your temples. It gives you heat, supports relaxation. I will tell you, every time I wear these goggles, it's only 15 minutes. I fall asleep almost every time. That's how much it relaxes me. People have seen, a lot of maybe some issues with their eyes. Some people have seen improvements with their eyesight as well. So again, we can't make medical claims. What it's doing for people, the stories are amazing. And this device here we talked about is really the most popular device right now because it's new and what it does. It uses PMF, dynamic massage, red light therapy, radio frequency, high vibration. High frequency vibration, heat therapy, ultrasound. It helps break down visceral fats. So some people are using these and around their midsection, and they may be losing a couple inches here and there just by wearing this belt. I'll tell you, if you wear this belt around and you take a picture and people see it, it makes people really curious what it is. So what I want to do right now is I want to let's go ahead and stop the share here, and I want to find D. D, you out there? Can you unmute D or not?
Yep, I
You
think
can.
I'm
Okay, so
unmuted.
you're good. Okay, so I want I invited Dee on here tonight to share her testimonial. She's been with the company now about 2.5 months now. So Dee, go ahead.
Okay, well, first of all, I really appreciate you allowing me to come on and share tonight. I could go on, but I am going to condense this down as much as possible. I have many, many stories of what this is doing for not just me, but everybody else, but I'll just focus on one this evening. And so, short story, I have been a painter for about 37 years, and back in November, I was rolling out a wall and there wasn't really good lighting in there. So I had a shop light down on the floor next to me, well, down, a little bit of ways from me. And I was rolling, and I forgot it was there. So at the last minute, I went to see if I could straddle over it, and I missed and I came down. And I mean, I put that roller through the wall. I had paint everywhere. But the worst part is I fell right on that shop light. And so I had a massive flaming bruise about the size of a football on my outer thigh. And obviously the bruising went away, but up until 2 weeks later, my thigh was still very sensitive and it had like lumps in there. And so I had asked my chiropractor about it, like, do you think it's blood clots? Like, you kind of get freaked out. And he's like, oh, I don't know. I don't think so. It'll probably take care of itself. So fast forward from November till about, I'd say 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was at a massage therapist and I just said, hold all fire, do not touch my outer thigh. It's very sensitive. It has lumps, blah, blah, blah. And she just happens to be on our team. She's not here tonight because she's in California with family, but she believes in PEMF. She's been using it with her clients for quite a while. And then she came on board with this just because she saw it benefiting her clients so much that she thought how much better it could be if they had it in their own home. So she's all on board with PEMF. She has our machine and she said, Dee, have you tried the claw on your thigh? Just gently rub it on your thigh. And I said, no, I didn't even think of that. Should have had a V8. But so I did that. The very second time, just after the 2 20-minute sessions, my thigh was no longer sensitive and those clumps inside were completely gone, completely gone. And so, it's one thing to experience it for yourself and see, but when you have something like that that just happens immediately, it's just mind blowing. And then I just really wanted to, because it helps everybody, you can't help but share this. So, like you said, it's been 9 weeks. And I've already been having such success with sharing this with people that I have actually brought in almost $9,000. So I am just going to continue to share this so that it can continue to help people, not only physically, but financially. So thank you for letting me share. That's all I got.
Dee, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Great story. One of, I mean, thousands of stories, right? That we've heard. I mean, we've only been really all of us have only been with, the company just really 4 months, right? This team has only been with the company for 4 months now, and the 700 plus people that are on the team already in 4 months. I mean, I haven't heard anybody, not one person has said they didn't get it something out of the device, right? I mean, some of the stories are incredible, and I encourage all of you, if you haven't been to our testimonial page, if you haven't been invited there or added there, please go there. Because I will tell you, reading some of those testimonials, you might tear up a little bit. I mean, that's how really incredible these devices are. They're changing people's lives. They're enhancing people's lives. Again, we can't make medical claims, right? That's a no-no. But people are sharing their stories, and people have all different ailments. And what these devices are doing is truly magical. So, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to jump back in here. And if you were here just to learn about the devices and you have no interest at all in sharing them, you can jump off right now. No one's going to get mad at you, but we're going to talk right now about the income side. Like Dee said, kind of a perfect segue. Dee's done very, very well, in 9 weeks, and she's not the only one. There's so many people that, were excited about the devices and they use the devices and they said, you know what, I need to tell everybody about these devices because of what's happening to me. And it's happened organically. And so they're sharing it with their friends and family and whoever they know, and reaching out to people saying, hey, you got to see this, right? Or have you seen this device yet? Nobody's seen it. So we're going to talk tonight about timing. We're going to talk about how this product is so amazing, how it's demonstratable. So, if you're like me, I've been in this industry of direct sales for 30 years. You might be in for just as long, if not longer, or anywhere in between there. And I'll tell you, over the 30 years, I've done quite a few different things. Skincare, health, nutrition, weight loss, legal services, other things, right? And I will tell you, I always had to be somewhat of a salesperson. Because, see, when you talk to any about any of those things, they already have them, right? Everybody has some sort of skincare, right? Probably, unless they're real young. They all have health nutrition of some sort, right? Everybody has a GLP-1 product now. Everybody has a peptide product, right? So you have to be a salesperson because when you go to somebody and say, "Hey, try my GLP-1," or you got to try, it'd be like, "I already have one," or "Oh, my friend does that," right? Then you have to tell them why yours is better. See, what's so great about this company is no one has PEMF devices in their home. And maybe a couple of people do have mats, right, from back in the day, but nobody has these devices. So you don't have to be a salesperson. And these products are demonstratable. You put people's feet on these devices or around their belly, they're going to feel it working, okay? And it's not a huge lifestyle change, but again, it's all about timing. Timing is so much more important than talent. You guys may have heard that before, right? It's being in the right place at the right time. Getting in early. How many guys have said that once in your career? Man, if I could have just gotten in early, right? Man, if I could have rode the wave, right? See, the problem is most people see an opportunity when it's already passed. That's when the majority of people see an opportunity when it's passed. See, right now, a company like we talked about is only 3.5 years old, but it's brand new to the United States, Europe, Australia. It's really brand new in Asia too. I mean, it's crushing in Asia because, not everybody knows about it in Asia, right? So you look at the startup phase. Every company goes through three phases. The startup phase, that's usually when companies fail. This company didn't fail. They did over $2 billion in their first 3 years in sales. You think that's pretty incredible? I've never heard of a company do anything quite like that. And you look at where we are right now. Well, again, we're brand new in the States, but you look at that red dot on the screen there. That's where the explosive growth phase points. That's when it starts. That's where we are. And listen, like I said, think about this. If you see a train going 100 miles west and you jump on that train, where are you going? You're going west, right? At 100 miles an hour, right? So, you can't listen, it's all about getting on the right train, right? Following the right company, being at the right time. And that's where we are. We're not in the momentum phase yet. But when we get there, trust me, it's going to be a lot of fun. Think about the cell phone age, right? When cell phones came out, people made a lot of money when cell phones were brand new, right? But now everybody's got one. See, what eventually is going to be a day where everybody's got a PMF device in their home. And that's going to be the stability phase. Can you still make money? Sure, because there'll be more devices and new devices that'll come out. You can still make money. But the time where you can really have an incredible opportunity is when nobody knows about it and nobody in your circle knows about it, right? So that's what's exciting. That's where we are right now. So seizing the right moment, okay? So how do you get started with the company? Well, what's great about this company is you get a device. There's no startup cost. Okay. Your entry is $1,000 device. Can be used by the whole family. It's not something you buy every month or every year. You can get it one time. It's global ready. In other words, if you have people all around the world, you can just send messages to them and say, "Hey, check this out." There's no auto ship. How many of you guys have been in companies where every month you had to purchase something or have enough customers to qualify you to be qualified in the compensation plan, right? How many of you guys have been in companies like that, right? So daily payout in high retention because these devices, let me ask you guys a question. Think about this. I won't hear you, but what kind of cell phone do you have? Do you have Apple or do you have something else? Okay. Okay. So let's say you have Apple. Okay. Do you have an iPad maybe? Do you have an Apple Watch? Do you have a Mac, right? Do your kids have it? Does your wife or husband have it? And let me ask you this. Do you buy new devices every now and then? Probably, right? So you buy them because you like the technology. That's what's so neat about this company. It's a technology company. See, people get rid of products all the time, right? But people stay true to technology, and that's what this company is. It's a technology company. So when you get started here, you can, like I said, you can start with $1,000 products. You can start with 1,500. You can start with 2,000. You can start with 6,000. Why would somebody start with 6,000? Maybe they're a chiropractic. Maybe they're a salon owner. Maybe they want to do, trade shows, right, and have enough things to sample and show to people, right? Also, there's 7 ways to earn. I'm going to go over just a few of them tonight. But what's neat about this company, I've never seen before, there's no joining fee. Okay. Normally, you might have to buy a bunch of products and there might be a joining fee as well. There's no subscription, there's no monthly fee. You're active forever with a one-time purchase. Like I talked about, you can build international teams and there's also passive potential. So, some of you guys may have heard of a binary compensation plan. It's actually the fastest, most community driven compensation plan. You build two legs, that's the binary piece. and you build a left leg and a right leg. And what do you mean you build? Well, you bring somebody in for a device, they go on your left side first, and the next person will go on your right side. It's very simple. It's all in your back office. You don't really have to do much there. And this here I've never seen before in any compensation plan in 30 years. And I guarantee you probably have not. I haven't met one person that said they've seen this before. So let's say you come in for a $1,000 device. That would be our P90 or our shake and massager. Well, with this here, this part of the compensation plan, our team bonus, when you come next in the binary, when you sign up to get your device, you get placed in the binary. The person you're directly placed below, you're going to make 5% of their income. Yeah, I said that right. 5% of the person above you. So if that person makes $60,000 eventually and you bought a $1,000 device, you're going to make $3,000 from the person's income above you. If you buy a $1,500 device, that would be our P90 Plus. You can make up to $4,500 off the person above you. And if you guys are hearing that on the team that's new, it is new. I found that out yesterday. Tuan and Van confirmed that. When you come in for 1,500, you can make 4,500. Okay, so it's basically 3 times whatever you come in at. You come in for $2,000 initially, you can make up to $6,000 off the person's income above you, which is pretty incredible. You also get a commission, also a direct bonus, sales bonus when you actually share a device with somebody. When someone buys, let's say, a $1,000 device, the P90, the Shake and Massager, each device has point value, or PV for short. So a $1,000 device has 750 point value. So you make 10% of the device's point value. So a $1,000 device is 750, you make $75. Someone comes in for a P90 Plus, that's, 1,125 in point value, you make $112. If someone comes in for $2,000 with the devices, which a lot of people are doing, they're coming in with a P90 Plus and also the Galaxy G1 goggles, and that's $2,000. Well, you'd earn $150. And if someone goes big, they're a salon or a chiropractor or doing trade shows and they get $6,000 of products, you make a one-time $450 bonus. But this bonus right here is going to knock your socks off. This will, I guarantee you will do what I did when I saw this over a year ago on a Zoom with a guy in Taiwan. They were trying to open the market here. I saw this bonus, myself and Tuan, and we were texting back and forth saying, oh my gosh, you ever seen anything like this? And neither one of us had, not even close. You have never seen a compensation plan quite like this. I will guarantee that. If you're someone that's done these businesses before, this right here, if you are, let's just say you're a shark. You guys know what those are, right? Other people don't know, but if you've been in the industry before and you're a shark, this is going to resonate with you. So let's talk about you. You bring in your first person that goes on your left, that's A1, and then you bring in your second person, that's B1. When I say bring them in, they just want a device, okay? Now, if both A1 and B1 get a $1,000 device, you're going to make a $375 tier bonus. And then what happens is, let's say A1, your person brings in their first person, A2, and then B1 brings in their first person, B2. You didn't bring either one of those people in, and let's say both of them got a $1,000 device, you're going to make another $375 tier bonus. And it's going to keep going to infinity. There's no cap on that. No qualifications. You don't have to do anything else. Let me show you exactly how this works. It actually gets better. If both people on the left and right, A and B, come in for $2,000, the tier bonus is going to be $750. And let's say, for instance, you get a chiropractor on each side, or someone that just wants $6,000 worth of devices, you're going to make $2,250 in a tier bonus, which is incredible. So let's give you a little illustration here. Let's give you an example of how powerful this is here. So Tuan and Van, they're the first millionaires in America, outside of Asia, actually. They did it in 11 months. Why? Well, because the first ones, they were marketing it when it was hard. So they were marketing it when it took 3 to 7 weeks to get these devices in America. They didn't have any English tools where you can send a video to somebody in English. It was all in Asian, languages. They didn't have credit card processing. It was all through crypto. It was growing slow, but they got in and started piquing people's interest before we had all these things that was brand new now. So Tuan and Van are my sponsors here. They invited me into this company here. And, I'm out there sharing. Let's say I sponsor you. Okay, you're directly below me. And you just get started, right? You're excited to get these devices, and you're just logging into your website. And you go, okay, this looks pretty neat. And I send you how to do it. I send you the whole, simple system. You're looking through the system. And while you're doing that, Tuan and Van actually bring the next person in. And that person goes below you on the left side. Now, you didn't bring that person in. Tuan and Van brought him in, but they placed them the next person in the binary. That's why it's so important Timing's everything. You want to get started. You don't want to think about these things. You want to get started as soon as possible because when you get started, the person that gets started after you could go on your team. A very big deal, okay? So then I'm out there sharing it and I put somebody below you on the left side too. And then you start sharing the picture with people. You start, and then believe me, this is this simple, okay? This is why this company's growing so fast too, is because it's super simple. You send a picture of the P90 Plus to somebody and say, "Hey, Tracy, have you seen this before?" Tracy says, "No, what's that?" And you say, "It's a PEMF device." And Tracy goes, "What's that?" And you go, "Oh, look, you use ChatGPT?" And she says, "Sure." You say, "Hey, look up what are the benefits of PEMF." And she does that. And she comes back and goes, "Whoa, that's incredible." And you go, "Yeah, hey, I'm going to add you to our testimonial page. You can read all these testimonials on Facebook." She goes, "Okay, great." So she starts reading these testimonials. She comes back to you and goes, "You know what? I didn't tell you this, but I've been struggling with some issues recently. It looks like this device might help me. I want this device." So you bring in your first person, Tracy, and she goes directly on your left because the first person goes to the left. Now, in this illustration here, we're going to pretend that everybody that comes on board comes in for $2,000 for this illustration here. So when you bring Tracy on board, you earn 10% of the volume of 1500 PV with the $2,000. So you make a $150 performance bonus. And then you share it with D. D does the same thing. She says, "Hey, I need this device." And she goes directly the first spot on your right. Number two, you get another $150 tier performance bonus, but you also get your first tier bonus of $750. Even though you didn't bring that first person on your left, Twan and Van brought them in. You brought the first person on your right, it lined up with that, and you made a $750 tier bonus. And then a couple more people come in down your left side, a couple more people, a couple more people. Then you bring your third person on board and you get your second tier bonus of 750, another performance bonus. And then what happens is your fourth person also, and you're going to put everybody down the left side of your right side. Okay, it's very important. If you've done this before, you never put your people down the right side of the right side. Okay, if that confuses you, don't worry about it. We'll help you here with everything. Okay, so next, your first person on the right, number two, brings in their first person. It goes automatically on their left. And look at tier number four. You didn't bring either one of those people in, but you got another $750 tier bonus. Same thing happens again. Your third person on the right there brings in their first person. You get another tier bonus. Again, you didn't bring either one of those people in, but you made another $750 bonus. Then you bring two more people in. You get two more tier bonuses, two more performance bonuses. Now, if you look here, how many people did you bring on board? Six, right? You brought six people in, but there's 14 people on your team because other people brought people in. And if you look here, you made $900 in performance bonuses and you made $5,250 in tier bonuses, equaling over $6,000 in commissions with just 14 people on your team. And you only brought in six people because this is a community build. Now you can see why people like Dee and Kristen and Amy and Vicky and Colette and there's so many. I could go on and on and on. So many people have made over five, six, seven, $10,000 their first 30 days in this company. Some of these people have never made money in the industry, but they're making so much money because these devices flat out work. People want them, and this compensation is like nothing I've ever seen before. Also, what it does for you in this illustration here, remember we talked about each $2,000 device or devices comes with 1,500 personal volume or point volume. That equals times 7 equals 10,500 in point value on the left and the right side, which would mean you would actually get one share of the global pool. You'd be what we call an M1. When you do 10,000 point value on each side, left and right, you become an M1. The company every year takes 5% of the company's annual revenue and shares it among qualified members. And also, what's neat about this company is the volume never flushes. I know some of you guys have been in companies before where, at the end of the month, the first day of the new month, your volume goes to zero, right? And you start over every month, right? Here it doesn't do that. The volume never flushes. And you see here, you might be M2 and you have 100,000 on each side and it keeps growing up. The higher you go, the more shares you get in this annual pool. Now, the only thing you need to continue this forever, okay, is you need to basically bring one person with one device on per year. That's it. And that's passive income every year. As the company grows, okay, you potentially make more and more money. So we're going to talk really quick about, again, we bring this all full circle here. If you've been invited here tonight for the devices, I encourage you, get a device, okay? I went as far as giving somebody a money back guarantee because he didn't think it would work. And I called him after 30 days. And of course, he's like, this not only is my wife, her pain in her knees, it really is just almost gone. His nerve pain and everything else that was going on with him, he had a bunch of back surgeries, was definitely about 50% better. So he's a believer. And like I said, everybody that's getting these devices, everybody's happy with them. They just flat out work. Like we talked about, they're affordable. So get the device, okay? Get a device. Trust me, it'll be probably the best purchase you buy in your lifetime, especially if you're dealing with some ailments, okay? And on the business side, I've never seen something so simple. Never so simple. Because again, if you can just send a picture to people and say, have you seen this? And you could send, tell them to go to ChatGPT and look up PMF. And you can add them to a testimonial page on Facebook. And you might be able to send them another video or something like that. If you can do that, you can do this. It's that simple. And I encourage you also to do it as soon as possible, okay? Because we are growing. We're only 4 months, really 4 months old in America right now. Because the story real quick is I didn't get started for almost a year, about 8 months, 9 months, because again, they didn't have shipping here. They shipped here, but it took 2 months to get. They didn't have credit card processing. And they didn't have any English speaking materials. Now they have everything. And now the company is moving. So if your people haven't heard of it yet, you could be the first person to go to all your people. Or what's going to happen is maybe in a month or two, all your people are going to come to you. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So I encourage you to get back to the person who invited you on here or share this video with you. Get your questions answered. If you want to see more, we have a lot more stuff. Get added to the testimonial page. Read about the testimonials. And I encourage you, okay, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Our great Zig Ziglar there. So with that, you guys, thank you so much. We'll be back here this next Tuesday night also. And for those of you on the team, don't forget Thursday night with a Millionaires Twan and Van. We have a Q&A session with the Millionaires Thursday night, same time, same link here. So we'll see you guys all Thursday.